Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Manzer, and I'm part of Project EduAccess. And joining me today, we have two fellow Chevening scholars, Maknoon and Jayalakshmi. We'll come to their introductions as well. Firstly, let me congratulate to everyone who has managed to get the interview invite for Chevening, and also all the best for people who are still awaiting response from them. So today's session, we haven't planned an extensive presentation. It's a very brief 2 to 3 slides long presentation. We just talk about pre-interview requirements, what we expect you to do, and some tips. Obviously, like there's no blueprint for the scholarship, uh, but some tips which the three of us have mostly realized that will be helpful for you. So let me quickly share my screen. Please give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Can you? Perfect. All right, so today's workshop is on Chevening Scholarship Interviews. As I briefly mentioned, we'll be covering two major components today. One is the pre-interview component, things you should be doing before you appear for the interview, and a few tips which we feel can be helpful. And at the end of the session, by the end of the session, we will be taking questions and answers. We'll be taking questions from the audience, and let's hope that people get through. So, if you are not aware about Project EduAccess, let me briefly walk you through it. Project EduAccess is a non-profit initiative which works to enhance access to higher education, leadership, and professional opportunities. As we all know, these things are mostly a privilege. Not everyone can have it. So we support learners coming from marginalized communities in accessing higher education. And we do this through mentorship and public workshop series. So it's a modest attempt to increase the presentation of students coming from marginalized groups in higher education. So, in a nutshell, Project EduAccess is a modest attempt to improve inclusivity in these spaces by removing some of these barriers for marginalized communities in the global south. And we hope to achieve this by providing mentorship and engaging advocacy. If you don't follow us on social media, please follow. All right, let me briefly introduce our panelists today. We are joined by Maknoon Wani, who is, can you please mute? Yeah, so we are joined by Maknoon Wani, who is pursuing an MSc in Social Science of Internet from University of Oxford, and he is the recipient of Chevening Scholarship from the year 2022 and 23, that is the current cohort. Along with Maknoon, we have Jayalakshmi, who is pursuing an LLM in Human Rights, Conflict and Justice from SOAS, University of London, and she's also a recipient of Chevening Scholarship from the current cohort. And that's me. I pursued an MSc in Evidence-Based Social Intervention and Policy Evaluation. The latter part I have removed because it's a long name. But also from University of Oxford, and I received the Chevening Scholarship in 2021 and 2023. So I would like to thank Maknoon and Jaya for joining us today. And look at how things are. Maknoon and Jaya both were mentees and part of Project EduAccess last year in the support group, and here they are sharing their experiences. And I hope many from this audience also makes it to evening this year. So to begin with, few points to note what to do before you appear for the interview. If you haven't booked your slots, please book it ASAP, because from what I understand, also Maknoon and Jay can also contribute to this, is that it's first come first serve basis. The slots are, so if you are unable to book your slots at this point of time, you'll be left with limited options. So whatever options you're getting right now, please book it already. I A few friends were asking that what if we get further slots open later. So there's no certainty to that. ठीक है, so in case अभी अभी आपको कुछ स्लॉट दिख रहे हैं, उनको बुक कर लीजिए. अगर वो फरवरी में दिख रहे हैं, वही बुक कर लीजिए. ऐसा कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि मार्च के स्लॉट्स आपको अगले हफ्ते दिख जाएंगे. So my advice would be कि if you haven't booked your slots, interview slots, if you have received the invites, please book it. Second advice is please upload letter of recommendations and transcripts or any additional document that is required. Please do not wait for the outcome. If I'm not wrong, the deadline for uploading these documents is 20th of this month. I'm aware some of you are still awaiting response. So while you're awaiting response, please don't take any risks. Please upload the LORs and transcripts. Another point which I want to highlight, that if people are awaiting response, that does not mean that they have been rejected. At the same time, that does not mean that they will be receiving the interview invite. So I know it's quite uncertain. I know Chevening has this reputation of spreading across the results across days. So all I could say is please be hopeful, and uh, if you haven't received the outcome, just pray and let's hope that you get the interview invite as well. But that does not mean that you have been rejected, nor it means that you'll be called for the interview. So please make sure that you finish all the prerequisite and pray and just wish that you get the interview invite. Jaya, can you please mute? I don't know who's speaking, but thank you.
I'm already on mute. Yeah.
No, no, not you. If someone was speaking, I thought if you can mute them as a co-host. Okay. Um, okay. Once you are done with all the documentation work, once you have uploaded all the LORs and transcripts, and let's say if you're preparing for the interviews, please remember that Chevening interview is one of the most relaxed, most light interview I have ever appeared for. The panel is extremely friendly. So if you are appearing for the interview, please expect one first person from the British High Commission. So you'll be as you must have been, you might have been assigned a particular office. It's a Delhi office or Calcutta office or Bangalore office. So there'll be someone from that particular office, the British High Commission, who will be a foreign delegate. Uh, then you'll be having Ms. Supriya Chawla, who is Chevening India head. She'll be sitting in all the interviews. One or two Chevening alumni, uh, maybe one or maybe two, and there'll be another person who'll be doing mostly notes taking. So it will be a panel of 4 to 5 people, and it will be extremely light. They'll make you feel comfortable. They'll not intimidate you at all. So please do not worry about that. And the Chevening interviews, it's more of a personality based interview. They will be expecting you to be well aware, well read about the essays which you have mentioned in your application. So please read your essays thoroughly. Okay, whatever examples you have given, please read it thoroughly. Maknoon and Jay will be talking about them, these examples in further slides as well. So the first step for interview preparation, just be very well aware, very well read about your essays. Um, Another point is please start preparing a good short bio about yourself. It's more of an elevator pitch. So just like all other interviews, even in Chevening interview, they'll be asking you to introduce yourself. So it cannot be a lengthy introduction. Keep it short, 1.5 minutes long max. That's again my personal suggestion. Other scholars might agree, disagree, but I feel maximum 1.20 to 1.30 minutes. That's it. Should be a bio. So please prepare on that, and that should be impactful. If you have received an invite for partner organization, let's say Achieving Duolingo or Achieving Adani Scholarship, so please research about that particular organization as well. What work they have been doing, what has been their focus area, how will you as a Achieving Scholar contribute towards that? So please research on your partner organization as well. The last point is please use the Chevening Impact Report and other resources to prepare your answers. Before you ask where can you find it, go to the website. Every information regarding Chevening, every information, be it references, be it interview tips, you will find on the website. So before you come bombarding us with questions on how do we write the LOR, who do we address this, please go to the website, do some bare minimum research, and you'll find all of it there. Okay, so Chevening Impact Report, Chevening Annual Report, Chevening blog by previous scholars, all of it you'll find on the website, and that is enough to prepare you for the interview. Okay, so please go through all of this. That's it. If you have any questions on this, I will be addressing it by the end of the workshop. Now I'll request next panelist to take further the interview tips.
Also, Manzer, building on what you've already said, I think some scholars have already reached out to their referees and they're unable to get their LORs by 20th because, some people have heard back only on 13th and 14th. That gives them less than a week to actually follow up with their references. So what I did, I mean, I wouldn't suggest this, but I think that's what happened even with me, right? One person was not available, but I had, like, you're supposed to upload 2 LORs. I only had one and I couldn't upload another one. But the 20th deadline is usually for your educational transcripts, and that's about it. And then you book your slot, right? Of course. But if you have some difficulty for whatever reasons, you're not able to get your LOR by 20th, I think, would you suggest them to write an email or something? Like, there are people who are genuinely caught up in a situation like that.
Yeah. See, I'll advise, please get this in writing or at least get this on record. If you
Yeah,
are in such situation, please write and inform the embassy, inform the team in advance that this is what's happening in my case. Um,
yeah,
uh, yeah, that's the best way out. And
yeah.
please don't, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you, Jaya, for mentioning
Uh,
this.
No, no. Sorry, I'm actually in a public space, so there are people who are using the restroom, so I just had to like turn off my video. Thank you, Manzer and Project EduAccess, for helping me arrive here, and having me today. I'm Jayalakshmi, and I'm currently pursuing an LLM in Human Rights, Conflict, and Justice from School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS, University of London. Firstly, congratulations to each one of you. I think making it to the interview stage in itself is a huge success. And I'm sure you've all put in a great deal of effort to make it this far, right? So, coming to some of the tips to tackle the interview, I would say this is something that Manzer has already said. So, at the risk of reiteration, I would again say it. The objective of the interview is to put a face your essays, right? So I understand it's a big deal and you're all nervous about the interview, but to be honest, I feel like it's one of the, I mean, a really simple interviews that I've attended so far. I know you won't believe me when I say this, but do your preparation well, lean back on your essays. By that, I mean reiterate some of the things that you've already stated in your essays, but you should also be able to state things that you couldn't say in your essays. For instance, there will be like a question, and there will also be subset questions, right? So, of course, you can reiterate things that you've already stated in your essays, but they're not just looking for that. So you don't have to like sit and read out your essays. I mean, they've already read your essays. But of course, you can take some support from your essays as well. Again, thoroughly read the Chevening website for interview tips. They're really good at spelling out their expectations. So go through their website for interview guidance. And I think Maknoon has already sent out a concerned link on the chat. Just surf through their website, look at the blogs that Cheveners have already put out, look at what Chevening has, said about the interview guidance, read and reread them, and it will give you uh, I think there's some disturbance. Uh, just,
Yeah.
I don't know how
I'll
to mute
request,
them.
yeah, I'll
Sorry.
request people to please mute themselves. Thank you. Go ahead,
So
Jaya.
yeah, so reread them, and that will give you a broad understanding of what is it that they're really seeking, at the interview stage, right? Next, I would say they don't expect you to be robots. I mean, by that, I mean to say that it's okay to make grammatical errors during your interview. It's okay to grab some water. Like, basically, it's okay to show them that you're nervous. And that's completely fine, right? I mean, it means a lot to you. So it's fine to, ask them to reiterate a question if you've not fully understood it. So all that is okay. And like Manzer already said, the interview panel consists usually of 3 to 4 people. Um, and you will have a subject expert. So coming to subject expert, right? So for instance, I am if you I'm a lawyer, so I'll talk about the questions that I was asked. So if you intend to pursue an LLM, so there will be someone who's a practicing lawyer or a corporate lawyer, depending on your subject specialization, so who will be part of your interview. Again, the subject expert will not test you on the general knowledge with respect to your subject, right? But will ask you questions pertaining to the work that you've already done. Like, for instance, in your essays, I mean, you're a practicing lawyer, you've stated in your essays that you've been a practicing lawyer the past couple of years. So they will talk about one important case that you've handled so far. So they will not talk about, what has Supreme Court said in this, particular case, or do you agree or disagree with them? So they're not they're not going to ask you or test you on legal affairs or general knowledge subject, or subject specific questions like that. But they would again go back to what you've written in your essays, and then basically their questions will be based on what you've already written and pertaining to the work that you've already done. Next important thing is to time your answers. So usually interview um, prep, I mean, the interview stage will have about 8 to 10 questions. Each of them will put forth 3 to 4 questions, two to three questions. I think subject expert will have more questions to put forth. So don't dwell too much into any question, which basically leaves less room for other questions. So Chevening interviews usually last for about 30 minutes or so, sometimes even 25 minutes, 35 minutes. So time each of your answers accordingly and use star approach. This is something that I'm sure you've already done with your essays, right? Situation, task, action, result. So approach your answers to your questions using a star approach. That'll help you structure your answers better. What else? um, so yeah, um, I would say don't be extremely confident, like don't be overconfident. At the same time, you don't have to feel underconfident. I think people who are on the panel are really senior. They've been in the field for a really long time. So, you can be your authentic self and, demonstrate some amount of confidence and about the work that you've done and what you intend to do. So they're going to be questions about why do you intend to do what you intend to do, things that you've already addressed in your essays. So be confident. At the same time, don't have to be overconfident as well. I mean, they're going to see through, right? um Also, if there are things that didn't give you space, I mean, if your essays didn't allow you space to talk about specific incidents, and now you have time to talk about those things in your interview. So like for instance, in your leadership essays you've chosen like two examples to highlight, and then there's a third best example, a fourth best example. So now is the time for you to reiterate those things as well. So use your interview to establish things if you think they really stand out. Yeah, I think that's
All
all
right.
I have for now. But during the Q&A questions, if there are more, obviously I'll be happy to answer.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jaya. Just few points on this slide. As Jaya mentioned, if you couldn't share your experiences properly in your essays, please remember to share more about your work here. So don't hold back on telling your best stories, and it's about you. So just make sure you talk more about your achievements. And it's understood that your courses and universities where you have applied, you should be forward with that. There's a possibility some of you might ask that I had applied for this course when I was applying. I mentioned this course and now I want to change my course. Okay. So I wanted to highlight this here that there is a possibility if you are appearing for the interview and if they will be asking you, do you want to change your course preference or any course here? So you can do that, but they will be expecting some rationale for that. Like, why exactly are you doing this? So please justify that. So you can be honest with them. If you have received rejection, tell them that, okay, I couldn't get through. Or maybe say, I researched it thoroughly, so I want to do a different course. So if you are doing that, and that will be your last chance for changing your course. So if you are planning to change your course, do it during the interview and prepare for that. That's it. And now I'll move to the next slide and request Maknoon to take it further. Over to you, Maknoon.
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us. All the best for your interviews. Uh, First of all, since we talked about the STAR approach, we talked about the courses, the universities, and probably you can access Project EduAccess's website to see the most asked questions, the frequently asked questions in evening interviews. But remember that there can be unexpected questions as well. They may come in the form of follow-up questions. For example, in my interview, I was asked, so you're doing social science of the internet, you've talked about hate speech, disinformation. What do you think went wrong? why aren't we able to stop disinformation? Why aren't we able to tackle these problems on the internet? So I had to take a like, because you're practicing so much, you'll have mock interviews. Remember that some questions might be out of the box. So you can't really prepare for such questions. There's a paradox there, but what you can do is remember that these questions are not to test your knowledge. They already know that you are an expert in your field at some level. So it is to see whether you can think on your feet. So just take a few seconds, let them know that you are, thinking about it. Structure your answers internally and then answer as confidently as possible, even if you're not completely sure that your answer is, up to the mark. Just be confident. These unexpected questions are just to check your confidence. That's it, not to test your knowledge as such. The second point, you will have an expert on the panel who is an expert in your field. Maybe, maybe not. Not all the interviewers will be experts in your field. So try to simplify your answers as much as possible. You already know most of your projects, the significant work experiences that you have undertook. So you sort of know what you're going to talk about. A significant portion of it at least. So try to make pointers. Try to think about the terms or the vocabulary that is a niche vocabulary, that is a jargon that is not used in our common parlance. So try to simplify that and think about ways to explain those concepts in a more simple way, like you would to a person who's not an expert in your field, who does not have a background uh, such as you. Uh, the third thing, know when to stop and assess interviews cues. This might be a little difficult because the interviews are conducted online. But sometimes when they're giving you like you're saying something, they're reacting to it. You might be able to focus on their facial expressions or maybe their body language. You might be able to understand whether they want you to go on a particular topic or they're short on time and they want you to move on to the next question or the next point. So try to assess those cues, but of course, don't leave out important information. If you feel that you're talking about a topic and you really need to, present a few points on that, you need to finish it off well. Of course, you have to time your answers. You don't have much time. It's your responsibility to finish your answers on time. But if there's something important, you feel that particular point will make an impact in your interview, don't leave that out. That is up to you. That is a decision that you have to take. Making the interview impactful. How do you do that? Link your answers together. For example, if you've talked about a particular experience in your elevator pitch, in your biographical narrative, and then towards the end of the interview, there's a question that, there's an answer that you're giving, and you think that you can build on something that you've already said. So be a little self-aware as to what all you've already said in the interview, right? You maybe not able to make notes, but understand that this is a single interview, right? You want it to be coherent. So build from one point to another and try to link answers, plug information that you've already talked about, so that the narrative that you're putting forward has a point. I hope that makes sense. uh Body language, of course. Don't make a frame. Like my frame right now is quite bad, but it should be at least at some distance. Try to cover your arms as well. Use your hands to, like, because nonverbal communication is also very important. Try to use your hands as much as possible. Do not like don't It shouldn't be too much because that might distract the interviewers. So try to use your body language to communicate. Be a little relaxed. Voice modulation, I think that is a problem that I have personally faced, and most of the students and people from South Asia face, because English is not our mother tongue. So it happens that we use a very monotonous uh, tone. Try to use pauses, try to stress on important vocabulary, use like maybe record a few of your answers, listen to them, take feedback from other people if you feel it's too monotonous and you want to maybe modulate your voice a little bit. maybe watch a couple of tutorials on YouTube, then that might help as well. Um, think about what you want, why you want to join our diverse and supportive community. Yeah, so going back to the point on researching Chevening scholarships. So do go back on the website. We have an annual conference, for example, where Chevening scholars, present their research. Right, the Chevening Secretary General, they also, and a few other, few other, you know, heads at the Chevening, they have give their speeches. There's different kinds of data that you can access on the Chevening website and also on the impact report. So, for example, if you're asked how would the Chevening community benefit you, if in your career goals, if in your general narrative you have, mentioned solution building for a particular problem. You can talk about how Chevening community consists of people from diverse academic backgrounds. There are people from STEM, there are people from social sciences, there are people from law, and how you need these different skill set, you need these different networks to, build that solution for that problem. So make it more tangible. Don't just use like, comment. Sorry. Yeah. So don't just make generalistic comments, make it more tangible, give examples. And if you have to give data points, do that. It's also fine. And finally, yeah, sign off with a greeting and thank the interviewers for their time. Keep smiling and yeah, be grateful. It should show that you're grateful that they gave you your time. And finally, if you can prepare a question or two for them, because towards the end, they usually ask, do you have any questions for us? So ask questions, the answers for which are not mentioned on their websites. So prepare, if you have to ask questions, prepare them, and they should be genuine questions. They shouldn't be questions, for which the answers are there on the website. Like they shouldn't be such questions. If there's something that you genuinely want to ask and you don't have information about a particular topic and you want to access that information, just ask those questions. And yeah, generally listen well to the questions. Sometimes the questions are too long, there are different multiple parts to it. Ask them to rephrase, request them to ask the questions again. And yeah, be sure about the questions and answer them correctly. Manzer.
Thank you, Maknoon. All right, we are done
Manzar,
with- Yeah,
yeah, also if I may jump in at this point.
yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
so also with respect to, I mean, there will be like, serious questions about your universities and, networking skills, leadership, but there will also be questions about what you intend to do in the UK,
Mm.
right? So, also like prepare on those questions, like what is it that you intend to do? Like, do you intend to travel? Or like, what is it that you enjoy? Don't give them generic answers like, I want to go watch a football match or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, you can give that as well, but I feel like you need to spend some time, you know, trying to understand their culture, and if you have like some specific answers, and if you thought it through, I think that will also, stand out. Don't give
yeah,
generic answers, yeah,
yes,
because usually the British High Commissioners, they will ask you, why is it that you want to go to UK? What else do you want to do apart from your course? So talk about those things as well. So that may be a question, yeah. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Jaya. I mean, see, I will come to the questions now, but before we come, I wanted to highlight that another fellow scholar, Suhail, he once mentioned it during one of mock interviews that see, Chevening is not looking for another Manzer, Maknoon, or Jaya. They're looking for someone who is a next scholar who brings, a different perspective, a different approach to the scholarship. So you have to showcase your best version, be as unique as possible. And when I say unique, that does not mean that you have to bring a very different idea, but uh, do thorough research about your course, do thorough research on what you want to do in the UK. As Maknoon said, your question cannot be, very straightforward question. Think about it, and that is how you differentiate yourself from other candidates. So please do that. Now, what we'll do is we'll start addressing questions. We have a few hands raised. We'll start with Afreen first. Afreen, can you please unmute and ask your question, and then we'll come to the chat as well.
Hello, thank you so much, Shailaj, Jaya, and Manzer for organizing this. I have a very technical question with respect to my LORs. One of my referees sent me the LOR the other day, and I'm planning to upload it soon before my interview, of course, by the 20th. It's not addressed to the British High Commission. He's mentioned Dear Admissions Committee. So is that a problem? Or is it mandatorily supposed to be addressed to the British High Commission? I read somewhere on the Chevening tips that it's supposed to be addressed to the British High Commission. Should I ask him to make that amendment?
If it's possible, please get it done. If it's possible,
Okay, I'll
because
do.
it says on the references page, it says that it has to be addressed to the High Commission.
British High Commission. All right. Another technical question that I have is that on my portal, yeah, I'm asked to, of course, upload both the LORs. Am I supposed to upload both the LORs in one file? Because there are no two separate. I mean, it's a very technical question. Maybe scholars who are applying with me and are uploading. I'm not too sure if I'm putting you on the difficult spot to answer that. But I am facing this technical difficulty. I don't know if I'm supposed to upload it in two different files or in one file together.
Okay, so if I may answer this,
Yeah, please.
so why don't you upload one LOR and see? Usually, what happens is when you upload the LOR and the other slot opens. So, did you
Yeah.
try uploading the
Yeah.
first LOR?
I was so scared that what if it's my only chance to sort of upload it, because it says that certain files, like my conditional offer I applied, it said that after I
Hmm.
upload it, I cannot change the file. So I was too scared to sort of upload the LOR file, just only the one LOR
Yeah,
file.
no, I understand. I understand your concern. See, either you do that, like, upload an LOR and see whether it opens up another slot, because it'll be saved. As soon as you upload, it won't be submitted, right? And then you'll have to click on submit. Or
Okay.
another thing that you could try doing is, because I don't think they really respond to individual people. I mean, I have
Okay.
faced a difficulty like that, with respect to another issue. Or you can combine both the PDFs into like one document and upload. I mean, that's also something that I would
Jaya,
suggest.
can we ask other participants here? Has anyone uploaded their LORs?
Yeah, that can be better. Anyone who wants to?
Have,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Harshita?
Yeah, Harshita, please
yeah,
go ahead.
I have uploaded my LORs.
Okay. Uh, did you upload them separately or in a single file?
I uploaded them separately.
Okay, so you can do that then.
All right. That answers my question then. Thank you very much.
No worries. Yes, Mohammed Sabir Alam, can you please unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, hi Manzer and Maknoon and there. My question is, in my essays and all, I have written about that sanitation workers and manual scavenging. So in that, I have cited some data, and in my interview also, I plan to build on that. That this is the condition and all. So I'm wary of the fact that if I'm going on, it will show the government in a bad light. So would it feel like I'm washing dirty linen in public? So should I be careful about sharing how much I'm going telling this kind of data and all?
Okay, Sabir, I don't think criticizing the government or for that matter anyone else is a problem. The thing that you should be looking for, so the language, the tone should be positive. uh, in the sense that when you're talking about a problem, you're not just complaining about it, you're not whining. When you're talking about a problem, you're also talking about the solution. Keep a positive tone alive. Don't just criticize. Just it should be a very solution oriented approach, I think. Manzar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, there's obviously you must have mentioned a few points in your essay and they have selected you. So obviously you come across as someone who has a potential of being a scholar. So please don't worry. These are facts and figures that doesn't change that problems do exist. Okay. I don't think
Man,
highlighting. Yeah,
sorry,
sorry, Jay.
sorry. Go.
Just
No,
give
no,
me
no, go.
five
Yeah,
seconds.
sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you can definitely mention these problems, and then the idea is how your education in UK, how Chevening will eventually support you towards working that problem. How will you be addressing it? That should come out in your conversation. Yeah, over to you, Jaya.
Yeah, so I would say don't throw in facts and figures at them. Like, I mean, don't like dwell too much on it. I mean, you can highlight that, of course. I'm sure you've already highlighted in your essays, but talk about it in a more reformist way. Like, what are the reforms? Like, okay, the situation is like this. So what is it that, you as a policymaker or you as a lawyer, I don't know the field of study that you undertake, what is it that you can offer, right? I mean, in terms of the theory, like, okay, I intend to solve it in such a manner, or maybe this is a practical solution in this regard. So you can talk about reforms, I believe, and
Yes,
like
yes.
Maknoon said, it's also about the language that you know use. So it shouldn't be that you're just whining or you're stating most obvious things, right? It should be about, okay, what do you intend to do about this, of course in your own limited capacity. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope
I
that
have another
answers.
tech. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
please
another
ask.
technical question. I actually asked in that one. I asked in that WhatsApp group also. In my one of my LORs, one of my referees, he in Chevening website it is mentioned that they should mention their contact details like phone number and email ID. I had asked my referee, but I think for some reason he has not put it, and he has signed and put his seal in that his name and this designation and university details are there, but for his phone number and email ID are not there. So should I ask him to amend it, or that is
No, no.
fine?
I think, Manzer, correct me if I'm wrong, there's also a different slot where you can manually put in their contact details as well, right? Because I remember
Yeah,
doing that.
so when you were
So,
writing your
yeah.
referee details, yeah, Jay is right. You can talk about their designation and then maybe the contact details can be added there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I
even in
think in
my
the website we can.
LORs, yeah, I don't think in my LORs they've mentioned their phone numbers. I think at best, I don't even think they've mentioned their email.
Yeah,
So you can manually put in their, I mean, ideally, like, put their organization email and not personal email. If you have access to their organization
Yes,
email.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just put that, even if you don't put their phone number. But I would ideally both, but then just email also will be fine.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
okay. Okay, Sadaf Shafi, can you go next?
Hi. So, since we're asked to give a brief introduction for ourselves, I was wondering, would it be possible if we prepare one, two, or three slides, so that because it's the only predictable part, would there be an opportunity to present it, wrap it up within 1.5 minutes, and that's
No,
all?
no, don't even do
Yeah.
this. You won't get time. Trust me. You won't get
Okay.
time first, and second, will not allow.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Also, the other questions also reveal things about you, right? So even if you don't do a brilliant job, or even if you feel like you've missed out on certain aspects while you were introducing yourself, it's okay. I mean, they will be revealed anyway in other questions. So
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks.
Manzer, you are mute.
I am
oh yeah,
so
you were
sorry.
muted. Yeah.
Okay. Maknoon, I was asking you want to take this question in the chat. How much does our LORs weigh in the application?
Uh, I think I in this, how would we know?
I don't
Why
know.
is
That's the
there an
thing. Every
element of the application? We should assume that they're important.
yeah, yeah,
See,
I think they'll
a
be
lot.
significantly important. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, see, LORs are important, and what I'd ask you to do is a lot of students, what they do is they ask for LORs from people who are well established in a particular field, and they feel that that will have more impact. But I personally feel that you should get an LOR from someone who is really supervised you or taught you, so that they can really speak about your abilities, about your limitations, right? So just focus on that and see, these are extremely competitive scholarships. You only have 1 or 2% acceptance rates, right? So don't even think about not focusing on any single element. You have everything has to be perfect, near
yeah,
perfect at least.
Yeah, I
So
think it's a very wholesome, like,
yeah,
yeah, everything adds up to it. Yeah.
you have to focus on everything. So I would say LORs are as important as your interview or your essays.
Thank you, Maknoon. One more question from the chat, then we'll go to people who have raised their hand. Abhishek has asked if one has done most of their work and education outside India, how does that impact the application and direction of interview? Jaya, Maknoon, would you like to take this?
Sorry,
Okay.
can you
Yeah,
please
can you
Yeah,
repeat the question,
the
Manzar?
question was if one has done most of their education and work outside India, how does that
Hmm.
impact the
ഇയാള്
application
നല്ല ലുക്കടക്കാണ് എനിക്കല്ല ഇഷ്ട
and direction
Oh,
of interview?
I mean, this is quite a unique question. See, the thing is that Chevening requires you to return to your home country to work for development in your home country. That is the idea of Chevening, right? So you get skills and knowledge from the UK, and then you go back and work for your country. So, in any case, if you have gained skills outside of India, but I'm assuming that your essays were on problems and work that is relevant to India, right? Uh, if you can
Okay,
unmute yourself.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
So the thing is, I'm planning to apply this year. So I've not been selected for the interview yet. The thing is, I asked this question because I am from Nepal, but I've been working in India and I've studied in India.
Mhm.
But because I'll be applying to Chevening through Nepal, so my interview and my application will go through Nepal. So that's why I was wondering. I mean, obviously, my application essay would be centered around issues that are pertaining to my area in Nepal. But because I've studied and worked in India, will that impact in
Okay,
some?
Abhishek, I think we can have a detailed discussion about it later. But I'd say, see, even if you have worked in India, you've studied here, but you're still following what's happening in Nepal or the development issues there. So you can sort of spin a narrative around how in India you've seen some developments, you've gained some skills that can be beneficial to Nepal, and how you can build on these skills in the UK and then go back to Nepal. But yeah, you'll have to be careful with the narrative. Yes.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go to people who have raised their hand. Zahra, would you like to unmute and ask?
Yeah, I wanted to ask that how many mock interviews should one have, and what advice would you give to someone who's applying for the second time and they got rejected the first time when they went for an interview?
Okay.
I think I'm well placed to answer that.
Yeah, I was about to say. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'll tell you. I don't know. I'm just kidding. So, I mean, did you make notes after your first interview? Do you remember, do you have an idea what went wrong? Because I did know what went wrong in the first interview. So,
I just felt like my answers were not that structured because it was the
okay,
first time and I was very young back then. So
okay,
I just entered the professional field and perhaps I was very anxious, straight out of uni.
right,
But the second time, I'm just not sure. I also feel like the interviewers were very rushed. They joined the meeting late and they just wanted to wrap it up. So that kind of had an impact on my confidence because I felt like I was talking to a wall. There was no
okay,
response, no sort of eye contact. They just wanted to get done with the interview. They
okay.
had internet connection problems. So
No,
that
I mean,
really did
see,
affect.
sometimes like it's just a bad day. It does not reflect on your skills or how good you are. So just focus on your mock interviews. Maybe do one or two, not more than two. I would not recommend that. Just do two interviews. If there are any like in the last 1 year, right? You have probably worked or studied, right? So think about uh, adding to your narrative. If you had prepared answers for the last interview, try to add to those answers, and do some thinking. If you feel that any of your answers were not up to the mark, just make them better in any which way you can, right? And don't think that if it went horrible in the first instance, I don't think it will go like that again. Uh, usually I suggest to everyone who reaches out that they should pick an early slot in the morning hours, in the early hours, because I'm assuming they do interviews for the whole day, so it's better to do it in the morning. That's what I'd suggest. Yeah, and rest of the things, like some things are not under our control, right? If there's a bad internet connection on their end or on your end, they really cannot control it, right? But yeah, all the best for your interview, and don't like sometimes it's just luck. So just prepare well, structure your answers, and I'm sure it will be good.
I hope that answered your question, Zara. Jaya, you have to add anything to this, else we'll go to the next question.
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anand, would you like to unmute yourself and ask?
Hi. I have two questions. First is both questions are related to LOR, and we have to upload to LOR. And one of my referee asked me to like write my LOR, and yeah. So first is that, so should I like upload by myself there? Is it like is there any problem in that? And second is that it is quietly mentioned in the Chevening website that it is not need to upload LOR in the letterpad. So what do you prefer, that should we get LOR in the letterpad, or it is okay to upload the Word file or some PDF?
Should I take this question?
Yeah, please go ahead, Jaya.
Yeah, so I mean, this is something that happens, right? Like to most people that I know, they would ask you to write your LORs. I mean that's not the ideal situation. I would prefer them to write it on my behalf. Also, if you have a particular writing style, and then your essay writing reflects that, and then your LOR also reflects that, I think they can easily catch that. Like, what do you think, Manzer? Because so tread on that very carefully if you're writing your own LOR. And another thing is, so I had obviously when I had to like upload two LOR, so one LOR was on letter pad and the other one wasn't. So I don't think there's any strict rule with respect to that. So yeah, I mean, if you can get both the LORs on their letter pad, please do. Otherwise, I don't think you should fret about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jaya, for answering that. I hope that answered your question, Anand. William Cree would like to go next.
Yeah, thank you. And I have some couple of questions. First question regarding the transcripts and certificates. While I was uploading for the Chevening, I don't have original certificates. I just have the transcripts. So I have uploaded the same transcripts under that transcripts and the certificate sections. And now I got the original certificates from the university. So as I was asked to upload the transcripts and the certificates, is it good to upload again the what are the concerned things right now?
Are you able to delete what you've previously uploaded?
No, that's the thing. I couldn't.
It's fine.
You're not able to, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean,
fine.
you could probably clarify that in the interview if you get a chance or something, or you could email them. I don't know. Yeah.
Now, should I upload that, or because there is nothing changed in that? That is just it's a
But
nomenclature, the same marks and the same grades.
yeah, of course. So, but you're saying that these are official transcripts, and what you previously uploaded were not official. So, but you're also telling me that you're not unable to upload. So if you're unable to upload, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But if you're able to upload, then please go ahead and then, delete those and upload the official transcripts.
Yeah, I could see an option to upload, but I couldn't see an option to delete the previous. That's the thing.
Or I think if you upload a fresh one now, I think the previous one automatically will get deleted. I think that's what happened. Yeah. I'm not too sure, but Manzer, is that true? I think that happens, right?
I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to suggest anything which I'm not sure of.
Yes. Actually, it is clearly mentioned that that once you upload a document, you won't be able to delete it. So they clearly mention that please upload your documents carefully, because we unfortunately cannot provide the option to delete the documents if once uploaded. So I would, yeah, that's the input that I would like to give.
It's fine,
Okay.
honestly. If they have questions, they will get back to you on this. You can provide them via email. So don't worry about this. Is a very this is not going to
Yeah.
impact your outcome by any way.
Okay, okay. I'll just try to upload the transcript. If that does work, fine. If doesn't,
Yeah.
I'll leave that. As also, I got clarified from the meeting that LWAS can be uploaded on two separate parts. Uh, and I'm also mostly worried that the university that I have chosen as a part of my application were also the same, but the courses were slightly different. I got an offer from another course. Could that be okay?
I
Yes,
mean, I
if you
think this
want to,
was already answered. Yeah.
yeah,
Go
we
ahead,
answered
Manzer.
this question, William, that if you have changed that, please mention that in the interview and give the rationale for that.
Yeah, but I was worried that you've been telling that one of the interview panel would have a subject expert, because I was very new to that subject. It was a linking subject, the development status, but completely I was taught and assessed completely in the political theory, in the theoretical part. I was taught. I was very new to this development studies,
It's fine.
so I was very much narrowed, because many people from test and all, they are very much okay with this, but I'm not sure.
No. Honestly, they will not be offended by the fact that you have changed your mind in 3 months. Please don't worry about it. It's every day they'll be interviewing I don't know how many folks, so they will not be even remembering this. So you get a chance, you change it, tell them the reason, and they'll move on with it. So please don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay. And my two questions is that as far as I remembered, Manzer has told that in the early sessions there will be a quota for the region wise. Is that true? Just I want to reassure from you. I mean,
Okay.
from Delhi, it's some number of candidates from Hyderabad, from Calcutta, from Chennai.
See,
No.
if if it's all assumptions. This is all what I think this is the case. See, there are different regions. So Delhi has a different region that goes under the British High Commission Delhi office. We have Calcutta office. So Calcutta office takes care of, let's say, Northeast people from Northeast India and Central India as well. So every region will have their own set numbers of applicants. This is all assumption. There's no official information around it, and that's why um, they'll be competing with their set of region. This is all to understand that how application timeline differs in one region to another. So I don't think that should impact your application outcome by any way.
Oh, thank you. And this is my last question, and this is the most requested question even in the chat box, that whether the interviews are online or offline, because we have given in the instructions that interviews will be carried out over the video conferencing tools. You'll be contacted directly by the British Commission to confirm this. Something was written, but we were given also the interview location address.
That's what I said in the previous answer. The location address means that is the region that is taking care of your application. That does not mean that you report to the British High Commission Calcutta office or Delhi office, for that matter. Every interview after COVID has been happening online. You don't have to report there. You don't have to be there. That office is responsible for your applications. They are processing it. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Pankuri, please unmute yourself and ask a question.
Thank you for the presentation. I have a couple of questions. So do they ask finance related questions? Say, suppose, if you don't get Chevening, how you plan to fund your studies or things like that? Like, do I need to prepare and tell my finances to them? Do I have to get?
No. I
No,
mean,
right?
you can no. They won't talk ask you those questions. I mean, however, you can tell them if you're applying for other scholarships, or I mean, they will definitely not ask you about your finances. They'll ask you, like, if this doesn't work out, how do you intend to go about it? And you can
Right.
have different answers. Yeah, but you don't have to talk about your finances.
Sure. My next question was that how should I intimate my referees? Like, will they get a mail, or how does that work? Or they have to upload it again? So I, send the LORs again to them. So how to
No, they
exactly?
won't get any email. You will have to upload it yourself.
I have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So will they
But
approach my referees again, or they will not mail them?
I mean, they will need their contact details. So only if they feel the need, they will reach out to them. But I mean, it's up to them, right? It's their discretion. If they want to reach out to them, they will reach out to them via email or phone number, whatever, contact details that you've provided them with. But it's not that they will always reach out to them. But there's like some scope there as well. Yeah. So
Right. And just last thing, so I have just like my LOR start with, to whomsoever it may concern. So do I both LORs, in fact? So should I ask my referees to change that? Or is
if
it
you
fine?
can, I mean, it's fine. But I think this is something that previously was also asked. So if you can ask your referee to say that, to the admission committee member, whatever, if you can, then please do ask them to change. Otherwise, it's fine.
But I cannot upload or do anything on the
You've already
application, right?
uploaded them?
Yes, I have both.
Then there's nothing that you can do now
Yeah,
that
so
it's
it's okay,
already
right? I
uploaded.
mean, it should not.
Yeah. You shouldn't be worried about it so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Should
Thanks
be
a
all
lot.
right. Yeah.
Guys, one thing. If you have uploaded your LORs and in that, if it's not mentioned to British High Commission, trust me, that will not decide your application outcome. Okay? Chevening will not hold you accountable for that. It's fine. If you have chance to change it, please do it. If not, that will not change the outcome. That will not define the outcome. Okay, please don't worry about that. All right. Rahul, can you go next?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I have two questions regarding to LOR only. So first question is that I wanted to change when I applied tuning, that time I gave two other name, okay, and now I wanted to change one referee name, okay, and I have option like I tried looking at that the option that I can edit that. So can I do that like change the referee name, one name, and then upload it again? Like I've not uploaded it yet, so I wanted to change one name. Okay, so
Yes, you can do that. This is something that has happened with me as well. So initially, I've reached out to different people, but for whatever reasons, they couldn't write an LOR. So I had to change one person's name. So I could do that very easily. So you can do that
okay.
as well.
Thank you. And second question is that I am a working professional. So earlier I gave one academic and one professional, but now I wanted to like change one person, and again I wanted to give the academic reference basically. So will it be fine that I'm giving two academic reference only, not professional, because I am working from last 1.5 2 year.
See, ideally, like when you have like two LORs, one should be an academic LOR and one should be an LOR from your professional setting. So that's an ideal situation. So I think, that works. I don't know if you can, you can, like nothing's really stopping you from giving two academic references, but I wouldn't do that. I would get one from my professional setting and one from my academic setting.
So I thought of this because I am confident that if I'm getting from that two person from academic, okay, that will be based LOR, and I'm not confident about the professional, the person I am giving to write my LOR. So that's why
Okay,
I decided to.
I understand, Rahul, and I will leave that to you. It's your
Okay,
discretion.
okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Harshita, can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, thank you. So I'd mentioned names of 3 universities as is required. I have an unconditional offer from one university and I didn't apply to the other 2 universities. Does that make a difference?
No.
No, if you still intend to apply, please go ahead and apply. There's a different deadline sometime in the June. I don't know the exact date, So you can still go ahead and apply to these universities.
Okay, I don't intend to. I'm happy with the first one, so that is right. Okay, and I'd uploaded my LORs at the time of the application itself, and there are significant developments that have happened in the course of the last 3 months in terms of my professional work. Would you suggest updating my LORs accordingly and having my referees speak on those aspects as well?
Since you've already uploaded and there's no, I'm told there's no option to like delete them, right? So how do you intend to do that? If there's an option, then of course you can upload your fresh LORs, but since you've already uploaded your LORs, and then I think someone has already mentioned that they're not able to, delete previous documents. So I don't know how you will be able to do
I
that.
mean, I could write down to the concerned people and check about
Yeah,
changing.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's something that you could try. Yeah.
So you'd suggest updating them as per the latest.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. There's no harm. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Guys, I'll honestly ask or suggest you to work more on your interview skills and answers than worrying about LORs right now. And trust me, like, please focus more on your mock interviews. Um, who is left? I think Gel. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it? Yeah.
Hi. Thank you so much, Manzer. Thank you for the session. I wanted to ask a couple of things. One is 20th of February the hard deadline? Because I think it says that you can upload it until your interview happens. So it's all right if it is uploaded even after 20th, right? Because my acceptance, like my shortlist came only much later. So expecting them to do this within 1 week is like a little, I mean, it's a little difficult to expect authorities to do that. So is there an email ID I need to write to, or what is,
No,
how is it
no,
happening?
they will not be responding because see, when the timeline is announced, it's not that you should be uploading your LORs when you get the invite. The LORs should be uploaded, documents should be uploaded irrespective of you getting the invite.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's right during you see people have uploaded it during their first phase of application only, right? People have been doing it since November and it's obviously February almost. February is the hard deadline, irrespective of the interview outcome coming.
Oh, so
So
February 20th is the hard deadline, is it?
from what I understand, it is. I don't know
Okay.
people who have uploaded later, but that's what I mean, suggesting you should upload it before that.
Okay, and also if the three courses that I have mentioned in the essays, apart from that, if there's another course also that I'm intending to apply to, should I be speaking about that also in the interview, or it's all right if I don't talk about it?
See, you can only apply to 3 universities, right? So if you have already 3 and then you have another one, so then you'll have to delete what you've already earlier stated. You can't have like 4 options. So for whatever reasons you picked something, another like a new course now, so you delete what you already have, like stated in your essays, and then like have a conversation with them.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. You can't have 4 options. They'll ask you to have just 3 options.
Yeah, so 3 options, but the fourth option, if I get an admit and if I choose to at that point like go ahead with the fourth option, I can't like after the interview stage. There's no way that I can address it, right?
No. Out of these 3 options, let go of one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. That's about it.
Yeah. Who's
And
left? I
also,
think
I wanted to ask, should we be reiterating the examples that we mentioned in the essays, or should we be focusing a little on this and a little on something extra that we add?
Like I already said in my presentation, of course, you can lean back on your essays, right? But nothing really prevents you from giving them different instances that you think really stand out. So
Okay,
please feel free to talk about new instances. I mean, this application's happened in November and now time has passed, like 4-5 months it's been, and then you have something new to state. Don't feel, I mean, you can always go ahead and do that. Yeah.
should we be timing our answers, and what is the ideal timing of each answer?
Of course.
yeah, Maknoon's presentation, the slide clearly says, please time your answers, and every interview will be rushed. So I don't think any answer should go beyond 2 minutes max. Beyond
Oh,
max,
okay.
I'm saying. This is my advice.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope we don't have any more questions on LORs or any transcript, because we have addressed everything, and let's focus more on interviews.
Yeah, any interview specific questions we'd really appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
May I?
question.
Sorry, after you.
Yeah,
Please go
yeah,
on.
Hrishikesh. Okay, anyway, I can go. Niharika, please go ahead.
Sure. I mean, it's okay. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Regarding the interviews, you said that we can change the course that we want to apply. We have to mention that during the interviews, and and that is a final opportunity that we get to change the course, right?
Yes.
Okay. And about the interviews, I wanted to ask. I mean, in the last 4 months, from November to now, we are in February. So, if you have any other significant achievements, can we? Is it okay to stress more on that apart from essays? Uh,
I think Jaya just answered that question, did she?
no, as in, I understood. I mean, we can mention it, but would it be possible to solely focus on that aspect? And of course, essays, some parts of it, but
Yeah, yeah.
will it be?
See, what they'll be expecting is they will be obviously asking questions around, okay, can you share your leadership experience? So my advice would be first go with the example which you have mentioned. So maybe out of 3 examples, you can mention one, and then say, do you mind me sharing another recent example which I haven't mentioned? If they say go ahead, you can do that. That's the approach I use. I kept a mix of examples from my essays, also my recent experience.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks.
If I can go
Niharika.
next.
Yeah, please go ahead, Niharika.
Sure, thanks. So on my application portal, I can see an interviews tab which has like two headers, my scheduled interviews and my available interview slots, but nothing really shows on it, and I've not even got any email as yet. So have the interviews like invitations been sent, or I'm not very sure.
Niharika, on the main dashboard, uh,
Yeah,
you mentioned whether your
it
application is
shows
under review. If
mm,
it's under review, then you have
it
to wait.
shows one application under review.
So it's under review. You have to wait for a decision.
Okay, so it's still not rejected, right?
No, no.
Okay, so I just wait for some time. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Thanks.
All the best. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
No worries. Manthan, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you all for taking the time from your day to chat with us about the interview. This has been super insightful so far. My question was about the interview. Sometimes when I speak to British people in general, they seem to be very humble, they don't like to brag too much. But while I was writing the Chevening essay, I was told not to be humble and like own your achievements, etc. So where do we strike the balance in terms of really talking about your achievements versus like being true to your own sort of the way you are and not trying to be show offy?
British folks, they have enough money to pursue their degrees. We don't. So you have, and this is the only chance that you can. So it's hardly 20-25 minutes long. That's all you've got. So I don't think that's, I mean, you should be humble or you should be downplaying yourself. So whatever you have done, do not exaggerate it. Whatever you have done, please be proud and just share it upfront because that's the only window you have. Okay. So you
Yeah.
have to be, yeah, do not be humble, do not downplay yourself. And it's not the British who is going to study there. They want to sponsor you and they really want you to stand out. That's why they'll select you. Okay. So that's how you be, making your best case.
I mean, owning up your achievements doesn't always involve bragging, right? I mean, you're genuinely stating certain facts. So it's fine. Even if you're feeling self-conscious about, like, talking about your achievements. I mean, that's the whole point of this interview. So yeah,
I mean,
sound confident.
just generally, when you're talking about a specific project that you did, you're demonstrating it. You're not bragging. You're explaining the impact that you had, right? So you're saying
Yeah,
that these many people were impacted because of what I did. So you're not saying
yeah,
that, "Oh, I am a great person." You're saying that, oh, I helped a few people, and by extension, I have certain skills. So you need to strike that balance between boasting and underselling yourself. But again, South Asian students usually undersell themselves. So don't undersell yourself. If you've done something, just say it upfront. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I may add, so I think in my essays, I mentioned about this particular case that I worked on that actually brought about a huge, policy change. So I think that my subject expert was really keen about, understanding that case that I worked on. So he kept asking me like many questions, right, like follow-up questions, and he wanted to gauge my role, like what was your exact role, because in my essay I said, I did this, I did that. So he wanted to ask me, like, how many people worked on this case, and was it just you, or like, what, who took the initiative and things like that. So I mean, they will, you yeah, there's room for that as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like specifically asked this because um like I had the opportunity and a lot of privilege to work outside India for a short project, and I had received a scholarship to study abroad before. And when I tell this to people, I sometimes I got to comment like how much of your privilege there is, but like they don't understand what went behind last 22 years of me working hard towards achieving that. And in the 20 minutes, it's really hard to understand what will they take away from it. So if it's like the FCDO is sponsoring it and if they're trying to find like people who have not like had the privilege of studying or working abroad, is that something to highlight, or if that is like if they look forward, or do they not look for someone who's had experience or opportunities before?
No, I mean, I think the key is to be honest about your contribution, right? Your individual contribution. So you're also like working in a setting of, teams and, all of that. There are also other people who are enabling, some sort of change that you're impacting. So I think the key is to be honest about your individual contribution, and also you as a team, like, what you've achieved. Yeah.
We'll try to expedite now. We just have 15 more minutes. Ashruta, you want to go? I mean, unless we have answered all your questions, Manthan.
I'll pause here. I'll thank you so much for your thing. If I get more time in the end, I'll probably ask another one. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Yes, Ashruta, please go ahead.
Thank you, Manzer. Just a quick question. So in the application, we have mentioned three courses, choice one, choice two, choice three. So is it necessary to like really abide by the choice one and go for that only? Because like, is it some kind of rating that we have given? This is my choice one. So if given a chance,
No.
I have to
So
go for choice one
what
only
I'd
first.
suggest, when you get the Chevening scholarship, by the time you'll hear from the university as well. And then there's a time by which you need to upload the offer letters. Upload the offer letter for which you want to go. That's it. And they will send you the letter accordingly.
So okay, on that note, so I have got the offer letter from both the colleges for three courses, but then and I have uploaded both the offer letters as well, unconditional ones. Is that a mistake?
No.
Not
How
a
is that a
mistake.
mistake?
No.
I mean,
So
I'm
yeah,
not telling them, like I have uploaded both the offer letters, and by doing that, I mean that I have gotten both, and now I have a choice of both the universities.
Yeah, I mean, they want you to have a choice from 3 universities, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, if you are awaiting from third university, you're awaiting, the third option to pan out, then just wait for it. Anyway, you have a different deadline to upload your unconditional offer letters. So you can take a
and
decision then.
during the interview, they'll ask you to change your preference as well. So if either of these two universities, if you want to change the preference, you can tell them to change the preference as well. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go to Lahri and then Ishita, I think. Last two.
Hi, so just a very quick question. I was wondering if you have any specific advice about that initial elevator pitch that you need to make about yourself. I think in the chat also there was some question about like what kind of area should we touch on during this. So just I think I struggle to figure out what exactly they want to know when they say, tell us about yourself. So whether you have any additional advice on that is my question.
I think Maknoon is best for this. Please go.
I don't know why, but okay. So for an elevator pitch, I think what you should do is um maybe do something like 30-70, 30% personal things like your background, your cultural background, social background, 70% your academics or work experience. That's what worked for me at least. And remember that whatever you're saying in the elevator pitch for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, that will set the stage for the entire interview, right? So it should incorporate important milestones from your academic and personal life, because then they might ask, their questions might be around those things. So yeah, I mean, strike a balance between personal and academic slash professional, what I would suggest. And
Yeah.
yeah, because it's just 2 minutes, so you only want to mention something that is really, really consequential to who you are right now. So don't just say that I traveled to New Delhi to study and then it does not lead to something significant. So it's just a detail that is there. So you cannot afford to waste those 5 or 6 seconds that you're talking about there. So if you're mentioning that you started or you found a society or a club in your college, it should have had some impact then. So it should be something important, something consequential, and try to make it maybe chronological. So
Yeah.
this happened, that this happened. So make it like a short story, like a short story, very concise.
And make sure it's logical, right? Like this is adding to this and that's adding to that. So
Segues.
this led you to develop a keen interest in something, and then you took it further. So something like that, yeah.
I mean, our lives are messy usually, right? So we move on from one work to another, and they might not have any connection to each other. But when you're like presenting a biographical narrative, such is the system that we want to show that everything like this was I was destined to be in this interview, and I was destined to go. That might not be the case, but you show it like that.
Yeah.
I feel.
Okay,
Also,
thank you. That's really helpful.
no worries. There's also a WhatsApp group for Chevening India, people who have received the invites. If you haven't joined, join it. It's nice to be connected with people who are giving the interviews. I think every year this group comes somehow. So if you're not part of the group, let me know. I can share the link here. So people who have received the interview invite, it's for them only. Yeah, and it's unofficial, by the way. Um, can we go? Who's left? I don't know. Are we done? Rahul and Manthan, I hope it's from the previous question. Yeah, just 1 second, I'll share the link.
I have one question which is slightly related to the earlier question, but so with one of the previous people who asked the question, they had sent two academic letters. For me, because I studied online during COVID, I don't really have that supervisor in an academic sense who has seen my academic work, but I have really good professional experience. So I'm thinking of attaching two professional reference letters. Will that be a significant problem?
No.
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 So just check the references page on Chevening website. They mention that you can do either. So there's no requirement to, you don't have to have both. You can just focus on professional experiences because you need 2 years of work experience in Chevening. They like, of course, it shouldn't be that everyone is not in touch with their professors or their teachers. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we'll take one last question for the day. I've shared the link.
May I ask?
Yeah, Raghavendra, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm sorry, okay, I was not able to attend your all the session because I was in the way. My question is that I don't know where you have replied or not, but I want to know about the visiting PhD fellowship. If
Sorry?
you know, if you have knowledge about the visiting PhD fellowship.
No, Raghavendra,
For
I
the
don't have knowledge on visiting
visiting
PhDs.
PhD fellow.
No. I'm sorry. This workshop is not for that. Firstly, it's for Chevening Scholarship, and Chevening does not funds PhD scholarship, and I'm not the right person for this. I don't think even Jaya or Maknoon are. So maybe you should wait for another workshop on this.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
I
Stop
suppose
the
more
recording.
specific question would be like same as the introductory one.
One second, I'll just quickly stop the recording. Sorry, Manthan, you were saying
I've
something?
muted.
Hi. Just a more specific question, like the introductory one would be like in the end, you recommended having two genuine questions ready. So what would were the questions that probably you'd think of would make it sort of interesting? Because everyone would be asking some sort of same questions. That is part one.
Okay, I'll give my question which I had asked, and this came from the research we did. I don't know if Maknoon knows this question. So I was researching from the various annual reports and impact report, and it turns out that there's a baton, if I'm not wrong, which Chevening, passes on from one country to another, and it eventually went even to the International Space Station. So I only asked, like, okay, can you please tell me where exactly the pattern is right now? And that actually they were also, they started laughing and they're like, oh, we don't know about it. So you don't have to be very serious in your question. Someone I know asked, is it Chevening or is it Chevening? How do you pronounce it? So you can keep it light, or you can do some research on their work and ask this. So mix your interview with humor as well. That can I don't know, can help, unless Maknoon has some other answer to this.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I asked. I asked if it was not a humorous question. I just asked if you have a dashboard or a portal where we can access other scholars, and whether there's a specific, a tool that can help me to filter people from specific fields so that can help me maybe in my own projects in the future. They said they do not have such a portal yet, but maybe they'll think about it. So I mean, maybe that can help. You can ask serious questions as well, maybe.
Yeah, you can.
And these
I mean,
are both are very practical questions. Yes, sorry, please go on this.
No, I mean, I had no questions for them. So, I mean, if you don't have any questions, don't fret. Because I was so preoccupied with the interview, I don't think I really had any questions for them. Yeah.
All right, I'll stop the recording now. What we'll be